Hello, HIN620. This is a screencast about Chapter 18 with granting privileges to users and securing a database. So I'm going to start by logging in as my admin account, which is basically the root account. And what you can do is you can go over to this left side part here that says show the users and privileges. And so basically this is root is the one I created when I installed it. And then at some point I created one called Rob. And you could use this user interface to add a new account or delete an account or whatever you'd like to do. I'll show you how to delete an account using this later. But for now, let's create an account, and let's do that through the command line because sometimes it's better to just kind of see how it works. So you want to say create user, and then you give it a name, and I chose Big Bird, and then you say identified by, and then it's the password. The identified by makes it kind of sound like it's an alias, but it really isn't. It's the password. So let's do that, create that user right there. And so you see that successfully created the user. Then you want to grant the user some sort of privileges. You want them to be able to select, update, delete, various things depending on what their level of access is. So before we grant access to this user, let's just go over and see what this user could do now once he logs in. And to do that, we'll close the connection that we had open, which was the admin connection, and we'll open up the Big Bird connection and type in the password, save it in the vault. And there it goes. So we now see that under the schemas list, there's actually nothing there. So the user really has access to nothing at this point. So let's close that connection, go back to the admin connection, and say, let's grant the select privilege. So they're going to be able to select, Big Bird's going to be able to select on this schema, test schema, the table country. And that's all Big Bird's going to be able to do. So we'll run that command, see that it succeeds. And then we flip over back to Big Bird. And we say, boom. And you select all the countries, and there they are. And if you look at the schema list here, you see that there's has access to that schema, but only that one table in the schema. So you see how that one user is limited to just that one table and just that one type of command to be able to do. So if we want to remove that user's privileges, we would go back in as admin and issue a command such as this, which is revoke all privileges. You could put different things in there if you wanted to revoke some of them and add some more or whatever. But basically, this just says revoke all privileges from Big Bird. So if we do that and we revoke there, and pardon me again, but we'll slip back to this guy, and there's nothing there. So if you say select, you see that there's an error because the user is denied access. So command denied to user Big Bird. So if we want to then delete this user, we can go back in to the admin, and this time I'll show you from the user interface method, which is you just kind of find Big Bird there. You say delete, and it says, it warns you that Big Bird will be permanently deleted. And you say yes, and Big Bird's gone. And so that's, in a nutshell, how to do privileges and grant access and create users. And unlike the last chapter, this one I think was pretty straightforward. I'll see you in the next chapter.